Good evening. Welcome back to another Novak News with myself, Billy, and Thomas. We're going to talk to you this evening about the missing ingredient in the market. Stay tuned.
Boom.
Welcome
back, everyone.
Hope you missed us.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been that long, actually. Your two favorite real estate agents on this stream.
Yeah, it hasn't actually. We did a great topic a couple of weeks ago. And tonight we're bringing with the missing ingredient in the market. Buyers and sellers are probably feeling this. Not maybe sometimes they would have pinpoint it. So we're going to make it nice, plain and simple.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, this evening.
I like this topic, the missing ingredient. I think a lot of people are feeling that there's something missing in the market today. So we're here to expose it.
Do we just go into it? I feel like if we say it right now, we're just going to give the show away.
Nah, not yet. Let's go.
What, are you going to drop it?
Yeah, we'll drop it. Go. You got it.
Okay, it's urgency. I think urgency is usually something in a warmer market that is there, and you're not even realizing it. It's just happening. So in a softer market, it's interesting. A balanced market, buyers can often afford to wait. Without urgency, they often do. It's that feeling of we'll just wait to see what happens, watch and wait. Urgency compresses decision making. It increases the chance of multiple buyers engaging at the one time, and that's why you tend to see results organically built from like a guide price. But there is a difference, I guess. Motivation and urgency, two very different things.
Yeah. And we're seeing a lack of motivation generally across the board with the listings that we're holding and selling.
Yeah.
A lot of real estate agents describe this as a one buyer market. And some advice going out to certain vendors are the first offer you receive tends to be the best offer, and the one you should consider the most. So,
yeah. I mean, we broke that down in a news topic like this a while back, but it statistically makes sense. It's when you've got most eyeballs on the property, and then like based on buyer dynamics and patterns, that also kind of makes sense. You've got people that are ready to transact at their quickest. They may have just missed out on something, so they tend to react quite quickly. That's sort of the reasoning and the logic behind why some of the times the first offer is the best offer. But can we just break down the difference between sort of a motivation and urgency?
Yeah.
How they come in?
Yeah. So motivation is essentially wanting to buy or sell, where urgency is needing to make a decision by a certain date. So when you look at urgency, you think, I've just sold and I need to buy by the time I sell. That is urgency.
Yeah. Whereas motivation, sometimes it can be maybe a bit more self-imposed, or rather than like urgency, maybe being a bit more bank imposed or financial imposed. So there is clearly two differences. Many buyers today are motivated, but they're not urgent. And so they result in tending to go through more inspections, longer due diligence, more negotiation, lower first offers, because they feel like they've got time on their side. And let's face it, if a property's not going to sell from underneath you, why wouldn't you go and spend one more weekend looking at what else is out there, or
exactly
being in that in between decision phase?
Exactly. And then when you think about where urgency naturally comes from, it can be seller driven and it could also be buyer driven as well. So if you want to break down seller driven urgency, you're thinking that they've purchased somewhere, so they need to sell, maybe to gather the funds to finalize the purchase of that next property. You think of financial deadlines, just like that. Relocation, so maybe they're looking to move closer to family, or they have kids going to school somewhere and they need to be within a certain location.
Yeah.
And then the more, original real estate urgency matters like divorce or deceased estate from a passing within family. End of a lease as well.
Yeah, there's loads.
Yeah.
And on the buyer's side, you've got someone who potentially is finance approved, ready to transact. They're again, you've got their lease ending, they've got school catchments and deadlines to follow, family circumstances, could be selling another property. There's loads of different things. So you've got, like, I guess, buying and selling, and they're sort of trying to meet somewhere in the middle.
And then just on top of that as well, you look at urgency as a buyer where there's maybe 20 people at your open home. That's another point as well to raise. If buyer numbers through a property are low, then that urgency is also going to be low. They'll see just themselves at an open home and they think, okay, I have a bit of time here. Whereas in a warmer market, you might see you might go into a property and there's already multiple offers on the table at a certain level, and you need to get your foot through the door by means of an offer as soon as possible. So that urgency gets determined by how many buyer numbers are in the market as well. But then going on to how owners can create urgency and without appearing desperate.
Yeah, sometimes there's sort of strategic ways, I guess, you can look to your agent to guide you through a recommended selling approach, because you don't want to seem desperate. But I think, like, an observation we've made at the moment is that there are properties that are sitting on the market for long extended periods of time, and if price hasn't changed, maybe the strategy could be tweaked a little bit to create that feeling that there is momentum being made. To a buyer, obviously price is compelling, and like, you need to establish value first. But the second thing is knowing that decision is actually being made, and that if they like the property, they have capacity to buy, and they have quite a clear path to follow. So that's kind of what we're just going to break down to in the last couple of minutes of tonight's topic is how can you create that sense of urgency without seeming desperate. There's a few different ways. Probably the most common way you see online is an auction. That's pretty much designed as a 4-week period where you go out to the market, you get the feedback, and then you can platform the property to go out to the best buyers and let them organically work out where they see value. And that's done in an open forum. Second of all is like an expressions of interest. That's quite common. It's more of like a closed private treaty style, where then you submit your offer at the end. I think both of those, the reason auctioneers, agents, and sometimes owners like it is because they can put a date in the calendar and people work towards that.
Yeah. That also helps with buyers who are ready to buy early in that property's campaign, and they can put their offer forward well in advance. When you're comparing that to an auction where they have to wait basically until the auction day, which is in 4 weeks' time if you're viewing on the first day or week. But a expressions of interest or an offers closing campaign, you can put your offer in any time and it can be considered. It can be held for that 4-week period, or it could be accepted prior.
Yeah. Now, if you haven't sold in either of those two scenarios, another way, it's simple, is a price alignment. You take the feedback you get, you align that with the market, and it is often that if you align the price and then you establish market value, you get multiple people coming in at similar levels with offers, and organically it might build its way back up. So there's an opportunity for you to meet the market there on price if that's another way to generate more inquiry.
Yeah, and something that a lot of people don't know as sellers is if you're on Domain or realestate.com and your agent adjusts the price online, a notification gets sent out by realestate.com and Domain to buyers who have previously inquired to let them know. It's like an alert, price adjustment with property address to this level. And that way buyers actually see that and start thinking, okay, this owner wants to sell. There is urgency there. Let me go back and rethink that.
Yeah, we I'll give you a quick case study. In the week, had a sale that was on the market for about 90 days. We actually had a change of strategy, a small pivot, and put a closing offers deadline in by the end of the month. And obviously we've just ticked into August, and we actually delivered on that date, which was great. The backup plan was to rent the property out for the owner. So it didn't mean dropping the price. It just meant a change of strategy and giving, I guess, buyers a clear sort of set of transparent communication that this is the final week advertise that in the open homes and make sure everyone's really aware.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that creates momentum, and it produces the offer. It produces someone that little bit of a push in the right direction to get their ducks in a row. So I think that's a good message out there.
Yeah, I agree. And then you may wonder at the same time what happens when urgency disappears in a campaign. Typical market behavior and attitude is that buyers are attending multiple open homes. Also, when they're doing so, they're comparing dozens and dozens of properties that they're going through. And then what that does is delay making offers, because
Or no offers, I think,
or no offers.
They
Yeah.
just sort of can't give you price feedback because they're honestly probably confused about so many properties they're going through. We're seeing that a lot at the moment.
Yeah, and a lot of buyers are waiting for price reductions. If a property is listed within a week, 2 weeks maybe, they may be thinking, okay, I've been looking for 3 months. I usually see a price reduction at these properties. I might wait to see if this one drops in price or offer a lot lower than what the real estate agent's guiding.
Yeah, but I think that is probably for people that have not sold yet, trying to work out what's going on in their campaign behind the scenes. That's a really good starting place to look at. Where is the urgency coming from? Where is the set of communication to the buyers that decisions are going to be made? And hopefully that helps you have a quick look. If you need any help, I suppose reach out to us. Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you just got to remember that when competition follows, stronger prices become much more likely.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
All right, guys.
Have a good evening.
Thank you for tuning in.
Take
See you
care.
later.